Welcome to another episode of TFarrell Presents, where we talk about life from a Levite's perspective. Today's guest is the VP of IT Audio Visual Production at BNP Paribas. I know him as a musician, composer, artist, producer, and musical director. He's had the honor to play for great icons and legends like Hezekiah Walker, Carr, JT Taylor, who's the former lead vocalist for Kool the Gang, Sandra Reaves-Phillips from the Lean On Me film, and has shared the stage and backed up countless artists, including Fred Hammond, Marvin Sapp, the Williams brothers, Vicky Winans, Men Are Standing, Brandy, Sean Diddy Combs, Kirk Franklin, Tye Tribbett, Ray Charles, Bebe Cece Winans, and the list goes on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, help me welcome Teddie FX Rollins. Teddie, how you doing, bro?
Oh man, I'm blessed, man. So glad to be here, man. Been a minute. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I know, man. It's been a minute since a lot of people saw a lot of different people.
Oh yes.
It's great to connect with you again, man. Man, when I was doing research, I didn't realize how much stuff you've actually done.
Shoot, after you just did that intro, I was just thinking like, wow, I did a lot, didn't I?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I wanted to start off asking, and this is wasn't even part of the interview questions, but Teddie FX Rollins, where does FX come from? Where did it start?
Well, man, pretty much it started back when I was playing with Hez. My brothers, I call my brothers the musicians I was playing with back in the days. They still my brothers to this day. I love to play aux sounds, just all type of weird sounds. And it was just something that I grew up doing that. And then all of a sudden in a rehearsal, the guys was like, yo, FX. So we used to choose names. So we was doing it live in London from Hez. And one thing you had to do, if you had to have tough skin, because we would crack jokes all the time. So we just wanted nicknames to put on the album. So it was like, hey, such and such. And they came up with FX. So like, you love to play FX sounds, so that's your name. And it stuck with me.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. So talking about that, how did your music career start?
Oh, wow. So what's interesting is it started at 17, at the age of 17. I've been in music since the age of 5, but it started kicking off. I met this pastor called Pastor Ronnie Gaiman. He was a director and also part of this legendary choir. Edwin Hawkins and everybody. They started this choir in the East Coast called East Coast Regional Mass Choir. And it had so many great musicians on it. Yeah, Jeff Davis and Jonathan DeBose Jr. And it was just the list goes on. So what happened was they did an album, this extraordinary album, and they needed some people to go on tour with them, to play with them, because the actual musicians that did the album wasn't able to go on tour with them. Mm-hmm. So I met him at a service. We talked. He loved the way I played. He was like, "Hey, listen, are you interested in doing any music, traveling?" And I'm like, shoot, I'm fresh out of high school. And I'm like, word, all right, let's go. So I was, I put a band together. I was able to get a couple of great friends, Arden Altino, Lionel Birmingham, Dave West that plays drums. Man, we had Nate Banks. He's a bass player. He moved out of the country, but yeah, we put a nice band together. I played with them at 17. From there, we went on tour. I started meeting other artists. Mm-hmm. And it was like, wow, I want to do this, so at age 17 I started, but then it changed a little bit. So I have a family member who used to play with Hezekiah and all these iconic music artists from Donnie McKirkland, and I used to be his roadie. Mm-hmm. I was his roadie. I used to, every time he went to play, I would be the person to pack his instruments up, set it up, make sure everything was sounding good. And from there, I was like, hey, that's where it started.
Nice. Wow, man, you just called a couple of names. I know all of those cats, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, from all the success that you've had, because you've played for a lot of different people in the church, outside of the church. what's one of the, well, you know what? Let me ask this question first. What are some of the things that got you to get the opportunities that you got?
That's pretty easy. One, prayer. I was praying at a young age, a prayer about what I wanted, determination, and always willing to learn and being at the right places at the right time. Right. So those are some of the points that got me there. What I've done was, after doing that, I've sat, like I said, I was a roadie for my cousin who was playing for Hezekiah Walker, and I learned. I kept learning what he was doing, what everybody else was doing, to be able to, I guess, play for such great artists, what it took to be able to be skillful, to understand the background and understand what you have to do, right? So it's for the people. I took all of these points, everything at every rehearsal, and from there, I learned it, and I used those skills, and I started moving on, going with other artists.
Nice. Now I'm gonna touch on something that's it's known to be a hot button topic, but you mentioned prayer, and it's a foundation of how we were raised, what we do as Levites. But now in your list of credits, we listed a couple of secular artists. How did you know when you were guided by self or by God, or how did you navigate through things that weren't church-based?
So to answer that question, I got to take it back a little bit first.
Okay.
Right. So when I grew up listening to secular artists' music, like Kool the Gang, Michael Jackson, New Edition, all these artists.
Most musicians did, yeah.
This is, but when I got the opportunity to play with these artists, it was like, my first thing is always, actually being young, my first mentality was like, oh yeah, I'm about to go get the money, I'm about to be popular, that type of stuff. Yeah. That's what my mindset was. But then my mother always taught me, you got to pray before you do anything, right? If you don't pray, you don't know what you're setting yourself up for in the outcome. So along with the hype of, getting the money, playing with these major artists, I would pray at night. I would actually, before I go to sleep or whatever the case may be, I would pray and say, hey, and I don't be like, oh, our Father, I just be like, hey, yo, God, what's up, man? I need you right now. I need to know if this is the right way I'm going. If it's the right way I'm going, you direct me. If it's not, then send me another path, and that's how it was. That's been my conversation with God all the time. And prayerfully, he's been leading me in the right directions with artists. And then, of course, there's sometimes, us as Levites, we get stubborn. We don't always listen. We always think, oh, you know what? It must be great because we're gonna make this type of money. And then when we go out there and do it, and then we find out it wasn't really what it's supposed to been. So it's life lessons. But I've learned over the years that no matter what I do, my prayer life has to be more important than anything.
Nice. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Besides prayer, what's one of the most important lessons you've learned from all the success that you've had?
Never listen to everybody. You got a lot of people in your corner that's always a yes person, because those people that sometimes the yes people are the people who's really talking about behind your back about you. So I've learned to stay quiet about things that I'm doing. I keep a close-knit type of friends and family that I only speak to, because everything that you do is not for everybody. So what I've learned was to stop going out talking and giving all of my business to everybody. If something's coming to play, I keep it in, I call it internal. Keep it internal, and that's it.
Right. No, that's good advice. Good advice. A lot of people can benefit from putting that into practice. For real. So now another thing that caught me was the fact that you're a VP of IT at BNP Paribas.
Yes.
You've been there for over 8 years or maybe 9 years, something like that.
I'm like 12 years now.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. So now, why aren't you doing music full time? Because one would think yo, if he's been on tour with this and he's been with Hezekiah and then had the opportunity and know all of these people, why not just go, yo, I'm doing music full time. You know, I'm in that life.
So I got the best answer for you. I know my lane. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. And at this time, I was touring, doing everything. I had children at that time. And at a certain point, it was like, listen, either you continue touring. Now, there's nothing wrong with touring for the touring musicians that has family, right? Because this is what they do. I learned so much from being on tour. But for me, I knew what my lane was. My lane was I needed to stop going on tour. I needed to be home to take care of my kids, raise my kids, let them know that, hey, daddy is here, you know? And from there, I started getting into the corporate world. So I went from the corporate world to where I seated to be a VP. And another thing was I was still being a VP, but I was still in music. I played for churches. You know, I got the money, stuff like that. But one of my prayers was that if you bless me with something that bless me in a job where I don't have to play for churches no more for money, where that's paying my bills, and that I can be with my family, but yet I can still continue to do what I love to do, and that's music, because I know God blessed me with music. So I left it and went to the corporate world. Right. By doing that, it blessed me to take care of everything, all my responsibilities, but yet it gives me the availability to still do what I love to do and still do music on the side instead of going full time. Right.
And I think that's that's something that I'm almost ashamed to say, but it's the truth. I'm just realizing this maybe in the last year and nothing against the full-time musician. I was a full-time musician for a long time. And it's for, like you said, it's for certain people. It's not for other people.
Right.
But if you're not called to be full-time musician, if you're not called, like be a full-time pastor, that's another thing. If you're not called to be full-time, when you do it, when you have something else paying your bills, it frees you up to walk away from situations that might be paying good, but it's like, yo, that's not a good situation. And I don't feel about walking away because my money is taken care of somewhere else. I don't have to feel like, yo, if I walk away, how am I going to eat, or how am I do this? It just gives you freedom to go, yo, I'm doing what God says do. And the money don't matter. Like, you can throw money at me, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the love. I'm doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what? I gotta say something. This is not to blow anybody up, but there was a situation where God told me I needed to leave and stop playing at a certain church at a certain time in life, right? And He blessed me with this other opportunity where, with the job where I've been elevated to, be successful and comfortable, where I'm at. And I did not completely follow what God said. I continued at this place, at this church that I was playing at. And eventually what ended up leading to it was that when I gave my notice in, 360, not even a 360, a 180. It was just a 180 change where it was like, wow, all the nice stuff they say about you and what you want to do. And then when you say you're leaving, this, the words was, you're not going to be blessed when you leave here. And I was like, I'm not going to be blessed when I leave here. And I'd never said I would stop going to church. My purpose and the reason why I prayed was because I wanted to find a church home where me and my family could worship together, right? Because one thing about musicians, we always do a gig, the quote unquote, right? We do a gig because we get our money. And sometimes we forget about the other part, about being spiritually fed. Yeah. So, and I've done that for years. I've done that. And, luckily, the people that I was under, like Bishop Hezekiah Walker, I didn't have a home church, but I stayed under his spiritual guidance on a lot of stuff when I was under him, playing with him. And, so at this time, I remember this pastor telling me, I'm not going to sit in front of the whole church, whole congregation. Yes, everybody. And I was like, wow, I'm not going to be blessed. I said, that's really bad. So I left, no problems, no love lost. And COVID hit. COVID hit. Now, I felt bad because a lot of my friends and stuff like that was out of jobs because churches shut down. Yep. And what ended up, God kept me because I didn't lose my job. I was still continuing working, still doing everything is. And what I've noticed is that I actually got my blessings increased when I left. So I was like, wow, this is something. So, it all goes back to the thing about, praying, making sure that you follow what God's word is and knowing what your lane is. For the full-time musician, I always pray every day that, everybody's covered, because I got a lot of friends out there that's full-time musicians doing it and they're killing it, and I love it. Now, if I wish one day, if that was my lane, I would have loved that was not my lane, but I knew my lane. That was not my lane. So I'd rather be on the back end. Let me be VP and then let me produce albums. I don't need to be touring. So that's me.
Right. No, I almost have I'm a different situation, but the same type of testimony. I remember 17. I remember Dave West. We were in the same like church circle. And he started touring, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to tour. I'm gonna get my thing on. And God let me know that's not what I want you to do full time. And I was just, yo, dude, I was hurt. I was just like, yo, how could you say that? Like, this is what I do. And of course, at the age of 18, I'm like, yo, if I can't do that, then I got nothing. Like, I felt like my life is done. Like, I got nothing. But that was God just showing or letting me know that that's not where I want you. And you keep, if you go headlong into that, you're going to end up with a life that's just not, I might not be able to control it. And I know, like you said, I know people got friends on tour all the time. They come back, they'd be the first one to open up the session and pray. And so God has them at a place where their spirituality, he can keep them grounded and be out there. And I probably wouldn't have stayed grounded. I wouldn't have.
See? Yeah, because in the music business, you know how it is. I had my cases of out there in the world and acting up. So so.
Yeah. Now I was gonna ask you, and you can pick whatever, man, whatever comes to mind. What's one of the toughest things that God brought you through?
One of the toughest things that God brought me through. All right, I'm gonna be very transparent. One of the biggest things that God brought me through was when I was on tour. I was going through a divorce, and my mother passed away, all on this one tour. And at this point, I could have either left the tour. It was a gospel tour. I could have left the tour, and I could have just gave up. I could have blamed God. I could have just, went a whole different path, because everything hit me. I was hurt. I was angry. I was depressed. I was at a point where I didn't care about life no more. Like, really did not care about life. I didn't care if I was gone the next day. It was just one of those type of moments. And what ended up happening was when I found out that my mom's passed away, and what's interesting is that a lot of and I don't mind talking about them, because to this day, like, they really blessed me. It was Bishop Walker, it was Fred Hammond, Marvin Sapp, the Williams brothers, Vicky Winans, Men of Standard. They all brought me into a room. They prayed with me, and they collected and put me on a first-class ticket right to go home, and told me, we got you, and stuff like that. And that stuck with me. That really stuck with me, because they didn't have to do it. These are major artists. They'd be like, oh, God bless you, keep on moving. They did not do that. They really consoled me and really prayed with me, and it's kept my head going. And then, I did what I had to do. But over time, what I ended up doing was one of those moments where, you think about it, you lose your parent. So now I already lost my father when I was in high school. So now I lose my mother. I'm on tour. And I'm going through a divorce. So, all of this is like, just hitting you all at once. And God stopped me and told me, hey, you have children that you need to take care of. No matter what goes on, you need to be here for your children. And my father, before he passed, always taught me, no matter what happens in life, always be the man for your children. Be that father, be that father figure. Never let them have someone else raise you, right? And I was like, that's how I've been. So from there, it took me some time, of course. It definitely took me some time to go through these moments, crying, yelling, saying all type of stuff, doing all type of crazy things. But, God slapped me in my face and woke me up and was like, look, It's time to get yourself together. And I overcame it, man. And now all my kids is out of college. They grown, out the house, doing their own thing. And to this day, they're very appreciative. They still talk about it to this day, about like how I never left them.
That's cool. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. I appreciate you sharing, man. Being as transparent as you are, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was a rough time, boy.
Yeah. So what's one of the key lessons you learned from that, man?
Well, one of the key lessons is that I learned from that is that I'm stronger than what I thought I was.
Nice.
I'm stronger than what I thought I was.
Nice. Yeah, God will always, he'll put people in your path to encourage you. I always say, if you take the time to look for God, he's always there. He'll show up in some areas where you're looking, but if you look hard enough, he'll show up in areas where you didn't think he'd come from. You know, he come from somebody who's just like, oh man, and when you think about it, it's like, yo, that was God. That was, so it's just
exactly.
It's dope. And he's always pushing us to another level, letting us know we've got more inside of us than we think we do.
Definitely.
That's cool. So I gotta ask, man, what's on the horizon? What you got going on? What's coming up next? Let us know.
Well, right now, I actually did 2 singles already on my own project. I have my own project I've been working on. Last year during COVID, right before COVID hit, I put out a single called Father Forgive. I've been talking about doing music my own self, but I never got a chance to. I finally got to do it. It actually hit big across the seas from everywhere. And so I just put out another single, came out maybe about 2 months ago. The song is called I Love to Praise Him. I got a amazing feature artist on there. I don't know if you definitely have to know her, Lynette Rhett. She's been all over. She used to sing with Leon Lacey and them, and she's been like that sister of mine that's been definitely doing it. But when you hear this song, I Love to Praise Him, featuring Lynette Rhett, oh man, it's gonna take you to a whole nother place. It got that like that go-go feel. And stuff like that. Yeah. You remember that old song, I Love to Praise Him, the old churchy song?
Right, yeah.
We put a little twist on it, so it's really good.
Nice. So, yeah, I did check it out. I checked out the last couple of singles you did. So
thank you.
That's what's up.
So let's see. I got that. Also, my pastor, Pastor Jarrell Solomon, in the Selling Church. Shout out to y'all. He came to me and asked me to help co-produce a project that has been in his heart. And so we sat down, we recorded a project on this past Easter of this year. Okay. And the single is out. It's called Dwell. Single is out, it's called Dwell. And if you look for it, it says Excelling New York, featuring Jarrell K. Solomon. Okay. Powerful song. And the album, we're putting the album out next year at the top of the year. So look out for that. We got a new album coming out. And what else? Let's see. Thomas Warren Jr.
Nice.
Yes, Thomas Warren Jr. So executive producer for his album called Brand New. His album came out this year and it's doing really well. It's doing so great. Actually, and I don't even know I should be talking about it yet, but I'm believing, I just heard that he got one nomination for Album of the Year for the Pearl Awards. Nice. So, praying that God take us there, get there. But he has a new project coming out next year that we starting to work on now. So, look out. We'll have some amazing new songs coming out next year.
Cool. I didn't even know about Thomas's joint. I got to check that out.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. I got some amazing producers on there that all wrote some nice. I mean, the music is really nice. It's all different styles and different styles of genre on there, and it's something for everybody. It's for the young to the young at heart. It reaches anybody that may not know anything about Christ, but it's like an inspirational. So it's meant for everybody to listen to.
Cool. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Man, so what's the best way people can connect with you, find out about what you're doing?
Well, let's see. Instagram, of course. Instagram. You can catch me at Teddie FX. Now, Teddie is with the TEDDIE FX, no Y. Teddie FX on Instagram. You can also catch me at Facebook, FX Rollins. You can reach me there, or you can go to my website. It's keyandkproductions.com.
Cool. And I'm gonna put all those links down there. After this, just send me all the links. Places where they can find the music, and then I'll add that to the description and the notes, so people just got to scroll down, scroll up, whatever platform you're listening or watching on, and you'll just be able to click and get there. Yep, I really appreciate it, man. Any final words you want to leave with listeners?
One, I would say never give up on your dreams. First point. Second point is never take no as your final result. You never know if one person turns you down. You never know you got 10 million other people that may say yes to you.
Nice. I appreciate that persistence, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need it, man. Again, I thank you, dude. I really thank you for being here. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
For everybody watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in again. Like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I know this is going to be a blessing to somebody. Our prayer is that God uses something that was said in this episode to speak to you directly. We will see you next week. And with that, we're out.